Hello and welcome to another episode of TÄCHES Bitwig. I'm making today's video from deep in the forest. I don't know if you can hear the birds in the background. Oh, peacock. Wonderful. I want to make today's lesson quite quick because I want to try and record a few today. And primarily I want to show you a quick tip in using drum breaks and very quickly creating coherent drum sounds using the slice-to-drum machine in Bitwig. So let's jump right in and head on over to Bitwig. Okay, so one thing I tend to find with drums is that you can spend as much time as you want searching through your kicks and your hats and your claps folders and your snares, but sometimes it's quite difficult to find drums that fit together naturally, and you end up going, oh, well, maybe this kick would work better, that kick would work better. And oftentimes, I just want quick, to the point drums. So something I like to do, at least for the beginning of when making a track, is to use a break. So let's find in here any kind of break. Quite loud. Okay, this will be cool. So I'm going to drag this in, and I'm just going to click the clip, and I have it set to Command-Alt-P. Oh, sorry, you have to click the actual clip. Command-Alt-P, slice to drum machine, and I'm going to slice at onsets. Oh, there we go. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now this is nothing new, I'm sure, but now when I have a little MIDI controller here, I can play through that drum break. Brilliant. What I like about this is the fact that that drum kit was recorded in a room by a person on a specific day with their own fears and desires and dreams and their own memories. And as poetic and fancy as it sounds, I genuinely feel that there's a lot of magic in sampling for that very reason. I could, in many ways, just record a drum kit myself and try and get it to sound the same, but it wouldn't be the same. And even if you end up just using single one-shots from one of these breaks, I think it does carry a certain spiritual value to it that you just don't necessarily get throwing single drums from different sample packs in. So without waffling on too much, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what my workflow would be with this. So I found a kick here, and I'm going to go ahead and record in a 4/4 kick. Clearly I'm getting a bit of latency here, so I'm just going to drag these guys onto the beat. And let's have a look. Let's have a look what we've got. If we make this a 1-bar loop, I'm going to loop there. Okay, so I usually try and find a kick first. I think a kick is always a good place to start, and this one sounds to me like it has a bit of promise. One thing I always tend to do is bring that sustain all the way down, and this will make it a slightly shorter, choppier kick sound. I mean, much better already. With a kick, I always like to filter off the top end. Turn off that metronome. I mean, that sounds fucking cool. That's got a lot of character. And whether or not you can tell that that was from a Tower of Power song, doesn't matter. For me, it just creates a feeling of story. Anyways, one thing I also then like to do with a kick is I could put an envelope on. And let's get rid of all of that attack, bring the sustain all the way down to 0 and a short decay, and let's map that filter to rise up at the beginning of the sound. Wow, very cool. We can try and bring that filter down a little bit more. See what it sounds like without. I mean, yeah, it's a cool kick, it would sound cool in a techno track, but for that little extra punch, let's just let through that little bit of sound. As I said in yesterday's video, I love when working with audio to commit to things, to say, yes, I choose you. Crikey. I don't know if you guys can hear that delay. Okay, I'm going to set the input to drum machine, and we'll go post, and I'm just going to record out that kick. Cool. So we have 8 kicks there. Let's just loop it at the right point, get rid of that end piece, and now I can call that kick. I've made my kick. Very quickly I've created a kick out of this Tower of Power loop that I'm happy with. So I'm going to get rid of those kicks and I'm going to try and find another sound now. Let's see if we can find a hat. Ah, perfect. So also some of these sounds, they do well for you to zoom in and just check to see that they're starting at the right point. They are. Clearly I've just got a bit of controller latency here. So I'm just going to go in and do a 4/4 hat. Didn't have my metronome on, so I don't know where the timing was. Doesn't really matter. I can just drag these guys to where they need to be. You know, and we're trying to keep this quite simple here. We're just trying to create the basics of what you would do with samples that you just dragged in from your one-shot library, but just with a more coherent, unified sound, knowing the fact that whatever the amazing drummer was in Tower of Power, that with subtle nod to that history. So let's check to see what that sounds like with the kick. Okay, quite cool. I might bring the intro in a bit, might make it start a bit earlier. And again, I usually like to, with all of these sounds, because there is a little bit of extra that I don't want, I just bring the sustain down and make it a bit shorter on the decay. Okay, quite cool. We could do with turning that clip up a bit, I think. Nice. And the fact that I did play that, it means we've got some subtle velocity differences here. I could also make this clip a bit longer. Make this a little bit longer. And I could highlight all of these guys and open up the velocity histogram, add a little more chaos. Maybe bring that guy up a bit. Don't necessarily need to go that quiet. Okay, cool. So now with the hi-hats, you could leave all of the bass in, but I like to do sort of the opposite of what I did with the kick, and I'll put a high pass on it. Maybe even a band pass. You know what? I don't think there's too much unnecessary low end there, so I'm going to actually just keep that as it is. And I'm going to go ahead, duplicate this channel, and I'm going to record in that hi-hat. Again, I don't need to record it to be that long, but respectful. Okay, so let's find another sound now. So we've got our hat and our kick, and maybe that snare, that could be quite cool. Cool, this controller latency is a bit of a nightmare. I'm just going to totally quantize that. And let's do the same thing again. At least we did get a little bit of variation here that I wouldn't have got if I'd drawn it in. But I suppose I could always just do the velocity chaos. Don't necessarily need to be quite so high up there either. Some of those notes are a little bit too loud for my liking. And let's go through again and just check to see what we can do to that sound. So I don't, again, massively like long sounds, so I'll bring that down, bring the decay a bit shorter, and quite cool. I'm into it. Maybe we could try again this filter trick. This is quite a nice little way to make techno-y knocks. And I'm going to put an envelope on it again, and I'm going to bring the attack down, sustain down. Oh, did all the ones I didn't mean to do. And I'm just going to map that to bring the filter frequency up a bit. See what that sounds like. Quite cool. I'm into it. One thing which works quite well with this as well is if you bring that filter down to add a bit more resonance. Quite cool. Maybe try the 2-pole. Okay, I like the sound of that. So we'll call that our snare, or knock. Let's record that. Ooh, let's record that in. I think I'm going to roll a bit of the low end off of that though. We'll go in, make the clip the right length. Didn't mean to do that. Don't know what I've done. Oftentimes you'll see the clip ends up being really long, like this. I have it set to show all, Command 0. It's a really handy little trick. So let's get rid of that and let's see what we've got now. Brilliant. And again, let's listen to what the original source material was. So we've made actually quite a cool minimal stripped back version of that Tower of Power guy. Why don't we find some more sounds? How do I go up an octave on this thing? So why don't we try and make a little low tom? For that guy, I'm not even going to draw it in. I'm just going to find where it is. This one will do. We'll put that there, we'll put that there, that there, and that there. And let's see what this sounds like. So I'm going to do the same thing, make it shorter. I'm going to bring the filter down a bit. Cool. I don't even think I'm going to put an envelope on that. So let's record that guy out as well. We'll call that Low Tom. Very cool. Very nice. Make that 2 bars long. Oh. Okay, brilliant. I'm just fumbling now. So, is there any more sounds we can find in here? It'd be quite nice to get one of those shuffly hi-hats I was hearing. Is that the same as this hat? Maybe we could even do, let's find one of these notes. Let's just let's drag out one long note. Let's make it double the length. Cool. And why don't we put an arpeggiator at the beginning here? And we'll put our global groove control on, and we'll bring the shuffle down to about 30. And let's draw in the classic hat shuffle with velocity levels. That should do. And okay, let's have a look what that sounds like. So what can we do to this sound to make it a bit more interesting? How about, you know, again, we just shorten the decay of the notes. Maybe we can pitch it up a bit. Pitch it up 5. Very nice. Why don't we also try and add a bit of modulation to this? So we could put a steps on, and we could put the steps to control the decay and the release, and maybe the pitch a little bit. We'll make the pitch come down as we go up. So now I can add in so I don't massively like what it's doing here. Okay, that's quite cool. Maybe we can bring the pitch up a bit. Cool. Let's record that in. So we'll call this 16 hat. Nice. So we got a little hat pattern going on there. Let's loop that. And let's get rid of this. Okay, so very quickly we've managed to create out of this drum break something a little bit more workable for dance music. And obviously we could go in and we could chop certain pieces. We could put like a double kick on the first beat, you know. Or we could even, if we chop these like this. Let's slice in 1/8 notes. Let's get rid of these end pieces. This will allow us to swing things. We apply the global groove control to the clip. And I'm going to add in, let's also make this double as long. And let's add in another kick here, and we'll turn that down 6 dBs. And we'll add another kick there, drag that back. And we'll turn that one, we'll turn this guy down a bit more. Let's see what happens here. If I now put the groove control on that clip, now we end up with a quite cool. I'm into it. So let's see if we put another low tom somewhere. So let's slice at 16th notes. Get rid of these guys. Just erase again. Very nice. And let's add in another note here. That up 5. Turn it up in volume a bit. Maybe we could reverse one of these guys. Cool. So let's do something with this knock as well. Why don't we have, let's duplicate that across. Why don't we add in one maybe we could add in another guy here. Turn him down a bunch. Turn it up a bit. Maybe add him here as well. Don't know what I've done there. Ah, he meant to be there. No, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, so with this hat, what we could also do is we could maybe halfway through that, or maybe the last one, we could copy him and reverse him as well. Doesn't sound very good, so I'll stop doing that. Okay, so quite quickly we've made a pretty cool groove, so we'll call that Tower of Power Drums. Let's see if there's another break we can find. I'd love to get some congas or some sort of percussion sound. Perfect. The Gap Band always satisfies my need for congas. So, again, it's quite quickly, just slice in place at onsets. And let's see what... Oh, sorry. No, I need to click on the clip. Command Alt P, I've set it to be. And we'll slice at onsets. And we'll see what we've got. If there's any cool congas in here. Okay, let's have a look. It's going to be very difficult to play the kind of rhythm I want. With this delay, but hopefully I'll be able to half-ass it. Maybe I can just anticipate the beat. Okay, that was really quite difficult with the delay, but let's just see if we can't find something of use in there. I have a feeling I wasn't too far off at the end here. Okay, maybe I'll put that on the actual beat and see. Okay, that'll work. And we're going to do the same old thing where we just shorten the sustain, because we don't want all of that crap at the end. We could probably just go in here as well and make sure that we're not picking up any of the other transients. So I'll just roll that off. This guy seems okay. That one does seem to have a bit of a click at the end, but no worries. We'll just roll that off. And this one seems okay as well. What I would also do is I would probably filter these. See what default filtering sounds like. Probably quite a nice idea to, let's just call it 1000. Oh. Huh. 1? Ah, there we go. 1 and 1. And let's put the envelope on. And I really should set this to be default, because it's how I use it most of the time. Let's see what that guy sounds like. Bring the filter down a bit more even. Oh, okay, that's more my jam. Bring you down, add another envelope. Cool. Turn it up a bit more. Bring the filter down a bit more. Okay, that's cool. And a little envelope here. Bring the filter down, map it up a bit. Shorten the attack, bring the sustain down. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. So this one still has a bit of a hat that I don't massively like, so we'll just bring that down a bit more. Okay, that'll do. So maybe we could add another note in there. If we consolidate this, copy that across. Not quite on the beat. Let's copy all of those across. And we'll make a loop out of that. That should do. Maybe we could put a little flam kind of note here. On this guy we could add go through, highlight all the notes, add a bit of chaos in the velocity. Okay, that's cool. So let's record out the audio of that. We'll set the, oh god damn. Set the input to drum machine post, and let's chord this out. Call this bongos. Nice. So we got our little bongo pattern going. Feeling the groove. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so we might even just put this in here and we'll just call this drums now. Everything needs to be red to soothe my inner demons. Okay, let's see, maybe if I slap a bit of delay on here, we'll do 1 note delays, but we'll do it with 16ths. 2, 3. That's quite cool. Bit of reverb perhaps. Try something with a filter. Okay, nice. So that about covers the length of this video. Once again, I've managed to get it to over 20 minutes, trying to explain a simple concept. Yeah, I hope this has been a nice little trick that obviously you can do with drum breaks, but you could also just do with anything at all, you know? You could take... In fact, let's try one more thing. Let's find right here now. Let's see if I've got anything that would be called ambient. Something quite long. Like, I know I've got forest sounds. Let's take this guy. I use this in a lot of my songs. So I'm gonna boost the gain on this just to let it see the onsets a bit better, which it hasn't really done per se. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, anyways, Command Alt P, and we're gonna slice and paste at onsets. And okay, so now we've ended up with a sliced, onsetted ambience. Quite cool. So why don't we, in fact, just try something a little weird here. I'm going to put a note on every single note. I'm going to put a note on every single clip. And I'm going... Oh, crikey. Almost there. And I'm going to make this quite a longish clip. We'll make it, well, longish. What is long? Long is relative. Okay, so I've filled that up. And obviously if I were to just play now, it doesn't sound particularly good. But what I could do is I could put an arpeggiator before it, which of course still has the global groove control on. We're going to set this to random mode. And I think, if I remember correctly, I can bring the sustain down on 1. I need to make my screen a bit bigger because... Okay, copy values to all layers, bring the decay down, copy value to all layers. Let's see what happens now when I randomly arpeggiate. Also, let's take out a couple of notes. Let's take out the first note and the fourth note, and let's do something with the velocity that looks cool. Okay, so let's see what happens now when we randomly trigger. I mean, that's quite cool, I have to say. It is just rotating through all of them. We could add a modulator to one of these guys where we say that the expressions, the velocity, let's put in a filter. And let's make it so that different velocities open up the filter at different amounts. We could make a step sequencer control the resonance and do something a little chaotic. Smooth it out. Add a bit of reverb maybe. do like the reverb that's built into Bitwig. Okay, that about covers it. Some things you can do with slicing to drum machine and sort of playing around. I hope you've had a lovely little lesson here, and I think I'm probably going to go get a cup of coffee, and I'm going to come back here and make the next one. I hope you've enjoyed the setting today. I know I have. Anyways, I'm just waffling. I really need to learn to end things quicker. And on that note, thank you, and till next time. Bye!